back to Miss Cindy's Kitchen and happy Mother's Day. I'm wearing a Mother's Day shirt today. It says best mom ever and it's all the Disney moms.
Well, not all of them, but...
Well, several Disney moms. So anyway, what I'm making tonight is what's called a raspberry crumble cookie. And the only substitution is I'm making it with boysenberry preserves rather than raspberry. And let me get my phone woke back up here.
And where did you get those boysenberry?
Well, my husband and sons went to the Boysenberry Festival at Knott's Berry Farm at the end of March. And I came across this recipe, and we have tried the raspberry crumble cookies from Costco, and I found a copycat recipe, and I thought, you know what, this would be really good with boysenberries. So, it's basically a shortbread dough, and then you scoop half in, and then you put the rest on top. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get the dough blending, and then I will spray the muffin tin. And the recipe is designed for 12 jumbo muffins, for muffin pans, and I only have standard. So it's roughly, one muffin well is roughly, the scale is just like 2 or 2 1/4 from one, so it's roughly half. So rather than 12 jumbos, I'm going to make 24 standard size. So the first thing I'm going to do is, it calls for 1 cup of softened unsalted butter. I happen to have salted butter because that's pretty much what I keep on hand. And I get it from Costco because that's just the easiest way for me to get a lot of my baking supplies. And I'm going to put it in the mixer because it says to cream the butter and the sugars. And the best way to cream is to do it in a mixer. So again, we have 2 sticks of softened butter, which is a total of 1 cup of butter, to which we will be adding 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. In some areas it is called confectioner's sugar. And then we also have a 1/4 cup of plain old white granulated sugar. So we're going to get these to creaming. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the mixer on, put the sugars in there with the butter. So while that's going, I'm going to get the pan sprayed. This is just it's called a high performance cooking and baking spray. It's what Costco carries. This is not a plug for Costco. I'm just a busy person and that just happens to be a good place to get stuff. This is a very greasy dough because it's kind of like a shortbread. So let me go ahead and scrape the sides down. I forgot to get a scraper. I like this polka dot one. And surprisingly, it hasn't faded much after all this time, because it gets used repeatedly and put in the dishwasher. Alright. So, I'm going to go ahead and scrape that off the paddle here. You know, I have multiples of most of my kitchen equipment, but I don't have multiples for my mixer, so one of these days. But then again, this is a 20-year-old mixer, so it'd be hard to track down and figure out which parts to get. Alright, so then it says to you gotta add the butter and sugar and extract. So it calls for a teaspoon each of vanilla and almond extract. So Another Costco baking item. When you're busy like I am, you gotta find ways to, well, not make a mess, but make it easier to get your supplies. And I find that buying the 25-pound bag of flour there, it's like just under $9. Whereas if you were to get a 10-pound bag at the store, it would be like, you know, $5. So anyway, this is almond extract, 1 teaspoon.
Of course, that's here in California, so we don't want to know what the prices are anywhere else.
Well, I think the only place that has it worse than us is Canada, so. Alright.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah. Alright. So, and then it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, to which I'm going to add I already have the 2 1/4 cups of flour. Alright. A little bit of salt here. It says kosher salt. This is sea salt. I like sea salt. Alright, so I'm going to stir that up.
Make sure it don't go off the side here.
Dolly would lick it right up.
Yeah.
Alright. Instead of that song, pour some sugar on me, I'll pour some flour on the floor. I'll lick it up. So I'm going to add in the flour to the butter mixture. Alright. It's just forming a shortbread type of dough. You can smell the almond extract, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So there's that. Let me scrape this down. And again, this is designed for 12 jumbo muffins, but I'm using a standard size muffin tin. Ugh. Scrape it down. It's a very stiff dough. All right, just 1 second here, and then I will show you all what it looks like. All right, and one way you can clean off your paddles is just to spin the beater after you've dropped your bowl down. All right, so this is what our beautiful dough looks like. All right, so let me scrape the dough off the paddle. We've been wanting to make this for the last couple of weeks, but life was getting busy. We had graduation and we were working overtime.
Well, you were working overtime.
I was working overtime. Yeah, got a little busy. And then we capped off a very busy week by taking naps this afternoon on Mother's Day, which was a great way to celebrate the day.
That was pretty good. So we had lunch, took a nap, had dinner.
Yeah.
Now we're making cookies.
And while dinner was cooking in the crock pot, we took naps. So if you're going to take a nap in the afternoon, set your dinner on to cook first. We still ate late, but that's all right. Okay. So it says to spoon a 1/4 cup of this dough into each well. So what I'm going to do is, sound like a redneck telling a story. All right. I'm going to take a cookie scoop.
Okay.
And basically, to scale it down, since these are roughly half the size of a jumbo muffin tin, and it calls for a 1/4 cup, half of a 1/4 is 1/8. So that's why I'm going to go with the cookie scoop, because that's about 1/8 of a cup of dough. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my words and rearrange the dough later. But for the sake of convenience, I'm going to do it this way. Just drop a little blob of dough into each well. Then I'll go back and get them all situated. I think this will be about right. All right. And then after we put the jam in the middle, we're going to crumble a teaspoon of this crust mixture on top. So, just gonna make sure we got just enough. Sometimes when you have a recipe, you've got to use your previously acquired knowledge on how to adjust things. So, I'm just guessing at the right amount of dough. And Dahlia is standing by, waiting for me to drop something. This dog is like my shadow. Okay, the dough's a little soft there at the bottom here. Okay. Alright, hope that's not too much. Oh, anyway, we'll make it work. Alright, so I'm going to take this. This is actually a tart shaper. Since we're supposed to press the dough down and up the sides of each muffin well, I thought this would make a good tool to use. So, and it looks like I might have almost too much dough. Let me just take a smidge out so I make sure I've got enough for the top part. But again, sometimes you have to eyeball it and then go back and adjust a wee bit. So just bear with me for a second. I want to make sure I've got enough for the topping. And it looks like I might be gonna run short. That's a redneck phrase, might be gonna. That's what happens when you've had a busy week and you start talking funny. All right. But we did have a very nice Mother's Day, and I hope you all did too. You were heading into graduation season, and with all these gatherings and parties, you're probably gonna need to have a treat to bring. So now you'll have something new to try. So again, we're going to go ahead and press the dough at the bottom and up the sides. And this is a tart shaper. It came with a tart pan, which was like a 24 well mini muffin pan that you make tarts in. One of these days I'll show you all how to make tarts in that pan. It's pretty cool. But sometimes you just use the tools you have for other things, and this just seemed the easiest thing to do. Ugh. This bottom batch of the dough is a little drier than the top half, which means I didn't scrape down the sides as well as I should have, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And you know what? We've got another end of this thing.
Yep.
It's all stuck. There, that's working much better. Talia's watching me. We have the canine version of Ratatouille over here. She's all...
Well, Ratatouille, he actually made the food. She just eats the food.
She grunts for punctuation on that statement. She's got so much personality.
We're also right now going through recipes to do the, what was it? The recipes through the...
Recipes through the decades. Yeah.
Trying to find some.
I've got 60s, 70s, and 80s. So, if you all have any classic recipes you'd like me to try or think would be good to do on our live even, because we do have that in the works. We just haven't decided the details yet. So there's that. So, all right. Okay, so to avoid taking forever, I'm going to go on to the next step, which is to put jam in there. Alright. Calls for a half a cup of jam, and I softened it in the fridge because it was a little bit cold from the refrigerator. Well, generally that's what happens, but I wanted to make sure it was easy enough to spread, or to plop in this case. Those are all fancy terms. Spread, plop. Because I've baked a few things this weekend. I made a chocolate cake with peanut butter frosting for my son's graduation celebration.
That was good.
Yeah. And I made banana muffins today because I had some bananas that needed to be used up.
Those are good too.
Yes. They're good for snacks and for breakfasts because we're busy people. And I'm sure you all are too. Make sure I have enough jam to go around.
You probably want to put a little more than one.
Yeah, I'll go back to that one. Let me just get the remainder. I'm getting down to the bottom, but I'm going to have enough to go back and patch that one up. Because this one needs just a wee bit more jam. Whenever we would have these raspberry crumble cookies, I would be like, oh my gosh, I got to learn how to make those. And then, just on accident, I came across a recipe for them, and I was like, woohoo! And then I thought, you know, other people would like to see this made too. So I decided to bring you all along for the ride. Now, it says to crumble a teaspoon of dough on top of each one. So, I don't know how we're going to crumble it because it's kind of cohesive, but we'll just kind of improvise. Now that works. It's a crumble cookie, so we're using crumble dough. And the oven is at 350. So I've already got the oven warmed up, waiting to bake these. And as these bake, the way I see it, these are going to start, the cookie centers will start coming together. And the two best tools you have for baking and food prep are the ones on the ends of your arms here. Alright. So, we still got plenty of dough in here. I'm just going to crumble it. Hence the name Crumble Cookies. But these will be Boysenberry Crumble rather than Raspberry Crumble. So whoever...
Well, you know, the boysenberry is a crossbreed of a raspberry, I think, and a blackberry, and I think something else.
Yeah. I think it's a raspberry and a blackberry. And there's also a lollyberries. We used to pick those when I was growing up. Make a lollyberry cobblers. There's so many kind of berries. There's some that grow naturally, and there's some that were cultivated and are from hybrids of other berries. Thankfully, we have a lot of talented people out there that can make hybrids of things. That can take something and say, you know what, this would taste really good if it was combined with, and then create something. Alright. Get the rest of the dough out of here. I think this is going to taste fantastic. And again, this is a shortbread dough, so it does not have eggs in the mix. So if any of you can't tolerate eggs or don't care for the taste, this is a cookie recipe without eggs. So we are going to bake this for about 20 minutes. I will double check the time and let you know when we come back how long it took to bake. And in the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe and share this video to your friends and leave us a comment, and we'll be right back. And we're back, and the cookies baked for 18 minutes. And after they cooled a little bit, I decided to sprinkle them with some powdered sugar to give them a little bit of flair, I guess you might say. And now they're popping out of the pans pretty well. And now that Logan's here, let's go ahead and have him do the taste test.
Yep. Woohoo! Love it.
Raspberry crumble cookie.
Woo. Actually, it's a boysenberry crumble cookie.
A boysenberry crumble cookie.
Close enough.
Glad they're impressive. Close enough.
So it's like a shortbread. It's just got the strawberry preserve, or not strawberry,
Boysenberry.
Boysenberry. Yeah.
I get all my berries mixed up. So.
Yeah. So anyway, make sure you have liked and subscribed and share this video to all your friends and leave us a comment. And this is our version of a boysenberry crumble cookie based on a raspberry crumble cookie recipe. And the recipe doesn't say to cover it with powdered sugar, but I thought it added a little bit of nice flair. I got this nice little sugar shaker to do the powdered sugar. So anyway, thank you again for joining us, and come back again soon for the next video.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.